Hosted by Ed Stewart and Dan Bolter, Life in Digital explores the ever-changing media landscape with today's industry leaders.
Cool. Hello and welcome to another Life in Digital podcast. I'm joined here by Ben from AudienceStore, Head of Client Services. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute treat. We're in the sun.
We are. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming down to the offices. So Ben, tell us a little bit about AudienceStore. It'd be great to hear about you guys, the company, and how this year started.
Yeah, of course. We've been going, I think since 2013 now, so not a new company at all. Started out, as many did at that era, just being sort of a trading desk, grown so much further to be a programmatic partner, a tech developer, looking at doing some really cool developments this year, which I'll talk about a bit later, I'm sure. And we grew, I remember, back then, 2015, 2014, about 3 of us. Nice. In a WeWork in Soho, in a tiny box room, and there's now 17 over on Euston Road. So it's been fantastic for me to see the growth of that, and not just in the team, but in the products and how we behave and how we look at markets. It's actually been a great couple of years.
And tell us a little bit, just for listeners as well, what does AudienceStore offer?
Of course, yeah. I mean, the dream of AudienceStore is in the name. It was supposed to be a place you go where you can buy audiences, so be a store of audiences, and that was always the plan, and actually has run truer than ever in more recent years. So people come to us for anything really, display and video, programmatic, is that a dirty word or not? Maybe we'll talk about that throughout today. It isn't just everything programmatic now in a way. But yeah, programmatic activations across all channels, whether it be out of home, CTV, or target cast, as we like to call that sort of area. So finding the right audience for people, driving results wherever they are in the funnel, using our insights from Discover AI to power and drive planning to bring results in faster. So yeah, hopefully that's a good overview.
That's great, yeah. And what about the affiliation with TMWI as well?
Sure, yeah. They sit in a group, they're separate businesses completely, and we have operated with them for a long time, but they're not like a core part of AudienceStore's business in any way. We work with a whole host of agencies with no conflicts at all, and actually starting out having a close relationship with them was a brilliant way to learn how to behave for agencies and what they need, and now taking that out to the market and sitting more independently is the dream for us completely. And I've enjoyed my time across the group. Now I sit firmly in AudienceStore with not much to do with the TMWI team, although there's still some good friends there, which is nice to check in occasionally.
Yeah, great. And just looking at yourself personally, what kind of drew you into that world of programmatic initially?
Complete chance. I started working for TMWI probably when I was at uni, so 2012, maybe somewhere around there. And I was doing SEO copy. They'd pay me 15 quid or so to write a couple of articles. Don't believe what you see on the internet. Yeah. I've written so many things about the best barbecue for your garden. It's me reading other bit, but so I learned that sort of digital space and SEO there. I was writing copy at uni. And I come out of uni and get a job in a bike shop, which is my dream. I wanted to open a bike shop. Some investors approached me because they knew me through that industry. I opened one in Redditch, and they're really at the TMWI ring saying, "You're supposed to be like Radsky." I opened a bike shop. So I get in there finally, and I do the SEO work, and I look across the room. There's 2 guys just always going out for beers, having burgers, and on the phone, just like you see in the movies, like buy. So I was like, what did they do? They work in
that dream
display. That's display, that's programmatic. Are you interested? I want to have a go for sure. Yeah. And I've never left. I'm still here buying, selling. I like to do that. I like the burger and the beer still. That's the treat of the industry.
Who doesn't? And what about the programmatic itself? How has that kind of evolved since you initially joined to this day?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was coming into, talking 10 years ago now. So I was when it had sort of started to become a bit more, not mainstream, but aware. So there were ad networks in the mid-2000s, and then it built, and we had people like, let's name a few old names, Rocket, Fuel, of course, people like that coming out. And I remember when I started, I was dealing with maybe like Quantcast, Captify. I think I was working with like the Mail Online had a trading desk. I can't remember what that was called now for life of me. So it was all a bit haphazard, and we were going to lots of different partners for different things, and we weren't really sure why they were better, but they had a really shiny deck and they said big words. Programmatic to me has just become how everything's pretty much bought. It's no longer the shiny new word. You know, I remember having meetings where they just yell RTB at me for half an hour. Okay, I get it. It's real-time bidding. It's the right audience, right time. And that just, we don't need to talk about that anymore, I don't think. I think we all just understand it. And
it's like the norm now, isn't
it
it?
is the norm, and it's just how we buy so much of what we do. And for me, it's still just as powerful. It's still just as interesting. It's constantly changing. We're all talking about all the stuff going on with Google, talking about the movement of CTV. Like, it's exciting. I'm really excited by it.
Yeah, nice. And I know that AudienceStore do a lot of like AI and stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and kind of how you leverage insights.
Don't we all?
Such a big buzzword, like, everyone's saying AI.
It feels illegal to come in like, AI guys, have you heard about AI? I'm doing the RTB programmatic thing. Have you heard about this thing? We all use it in some way. We've been not at the forefront, we've sort of followed other people, we've done as the market desires. We've built AI into products where it either makes them faster, smarter, takes work away from the team who can actually use their brains for the stuff that AI can't do.
And are you seeing that makes a notable difference?
I genuinely, you can go out and say, oh, we need to own the business, but actually, you just need to find one thing in your business that needs a little bit of automation or AI, and then you'll see if it helped or not. And then you can create another project and go from there. But just deciding that everything you do is AI, all your emails will be written by AI, all your ad campaigns will be written by AI, you're just going too crazy too quickly. So Discover AI is our audience intelligence product, handling like audience AI sort of works, audience intelligence, artificial intelligence, sort of interchangeable. That's been a huge proponent for us in taking huge amounts of data. There's another great word for you, data. We've got loads of data. Loads of data. And we just asked the AI to process that for us, because years ago when we were coming up with these product ideas, it was us in Excel spreadsheets and doing modelling, getting a guy with a PhD in data science to do it. And now we've got AI to do those bits. So it takes huge amounts of legwork, stress, and the bulk. I remember my machine just crashing when we were coming up with this concept because it couldn't process it, and then it's done like that with AI. So that was a major thing for us, but small things, we've got.
And is that something more for your business, or is that for your clients?
We offer that as a value add to anyone who works with us. It's a great pitching tool. Straight away, give us the brief, let's plug in that audience, find out what they do, what they like, what they behave like online, taking all those insights, even like geographical insights, pulling in some offline data from, dare I say, people like TGI, or you should even pull from the government data that's available. So try and bring it all together to give solid insights that are actionable and can be plugged straight back into a DSP. No shade on people like Acorn, so CACI and TGI, but you get a piece of A4 which says Jack and Jill like to watch Netflix on a Wednesday, and that's it. So, you can't really go into your DSP and say, right, how do I get Jack, how do I get Jill, Netflix Wednesday, so that's how I'm going to type this campaign. So having all of this data being plugged straight back into the activation is a huge win for us, and like I say, we offer it out and it helps us win business, it helps our clients and our agency partners win business. It's really worked out well for us.
And you touched on a little bit there about sort of bringing in AI to do everything, and people are a little bit scared about that. And obviously everyone's, AI, I'm going to lose my job, all this sort of stuff. How are you kind of balancing that human element with AI?
Oh, we've sacked them all. It's a really important. I feel like for years everyone's been scared. Since like Terminator, we've all been scared of AI taking our jobs or something, right? Or coming back from the future and killing us. It's become a really useful tool for both at team level, so either trying to automate some of the tasks they do that just don't need humans to be doing. Whether it's organising the day, I have some people in the team who need a bit more help with organisation, so there's some great tools out there that almost like create a schedule for you. We have other guys who need help with like grammar and spelling and actually writing emails, and then they use, like a ChatGPT to help brush up their email skills. So it can be very, very micro.
So sort of like blending it.
Blending it. And then at a bigger level, sure, automation within the activation, so the DSP, automation of the planning. We've got a really exciting thing that we're looking at this year with AI agents that will do sort of the planning process for us. So that is a bit scary. That might be them taking over my job as well.
Don't implement that.
So I think co-pilot's the word we throw around, and it's a really, really good word because it should be a co-pilot. It should be your best friend on the side. He's not going to take your job. You're just best buds, and he helps you out with that stuff.
More efficient.
More efficient. That's it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, amazing. Then keeping it buzzwords, because I feel right as well stay on the topic. CTV is obviously massive at the moment.
Genetic television.
How are you integrating that over at AudienceStore? What have you found the biggest challenges, and how are you overcoming them?
CTV to me has been like when Programmatic became a thing.
Yeah.
I remember, I think, talking to you before we started about the Wild West, right? Felt a bit like that maybe a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We've dove straight in. We've built a product around it, and that product target cast is focused predominantly on bringing together all of the video, all of the AV into one place. So whether we're activating or not, your linear, your BVOD, your YouTube, your digital video, your CTV, your social video, all of it tracked, measured, delivered from one place and planned together as well. We see huge disparity between the AV team over here and the digital team over there. They don't talk, but they know they've got to do this thing called CTV together. But one of them thinks it's theirs, and the other thinks it's theirs. We've tried to put it all in one place to make it simple. We've brought in some TV guys. We actually for a programmatic business, we have a TV planner. Who is amazing, and he talks the language of the people I go out and meet with, and they just start speaking alien TV language, and I'm starting to learn some of it. But bridging that gap, bringing people in who are sort of saying CTV's going to take my job, I'm a bit scared of it, and maybe that will be the case in 3-5 years, everything will just be on an app. Maybe stay everywhere. It might be like the rise of mobile. I think we're still living through the year of mobile.
Well, everyone's talking CTV.
Yeah, it's everywhere, and it's cluttered. It's really cluttered, and there aren't even any like big winners. So I speak to a lot of different providers, imagery sources, and it's hard to know.
Who are you finding that the biggest names are?
Look, Google's always going to be up there with their TV360 offering. But I've spoken to some great people at like Neptune, Samba. I really like the guys over at Sabio as well. Really, really awesome products. And then speaking directly, like Amazon has been huge for us. Amazon Prime has been huge. And that's something that I know some agencies struggle with. Either they can't get on with the platform, or they just can't get in, or they don't want to take all the extra platform, whatever it is. We found so much of our CTV is going through Amazon Prime because they have really solid data, a really good size of audience and scale against it as well. The scale is a huge challenge in CTV, especially not the UK and then some European countries. US, fill your boots. Absolutely.
Do you think we're kind of lagging a little bit behind the US?
We always have. I mean, I think they had, we were still watching TV via an antenna by the time they made it. And they're used to the disparate nature of TV, regional channels, so many channels. I don't know if you watch TV in America, it's carnage. It's absolute carnage. So I think they've always been ahead. They also have much more data than we do. So they're able to get their hands on a lot more than we could in, say, the UK. The sheer scale of the US is obviously a lot bigger straight away. And you see leaders over there just not being that big here in terms of inventory sources. So your Roku's, your Rakutens. I'm looking at Amazon, Apple TV, stuff like that. Here being a great source, and Samsung, LG again. Samsung, LG having, I think we worked out with them 60-70% of the market in terms of TVs. And then you've got your Hisense to Sony after that. So really interesting that you could go and take a huge share of the market just by speaking to Sony and LG, but then find that you've got to speak to Samba, Sabio, Google, Amazon as well, because there's gaps in the data, there's gaps in the inventory. So it's crazy out there, and I feel like I'm juggling about a million different things just to deliver one campaign sometimes. But I'm excited for the future of that.
How do you think we can bridge that gap between sort of Europe and catching up on the US in that CTV space?
Time, honestly, unless someone goes out and talks to every single person in the street and says, you should watch more things on fast channels, like on fast apps, on your LG smart TV. We've got to wait for the users to actually get to follow the consumer at that level. Netflix have released their ad-funded model, Amazon have ad-funded models, Disney have ad-funded models. So those are big players with good amounts of inventory and great data.
Yeah.
But you've got the Plutos, the Playrix, the Rokus, the Rakuten, the Samsung, the LG, all sitting underneath that with enough scale. But they need more. They need, if they don't take from Disney, Netflix, stuff like that, they need more. And that will just come over time. I was looking at something from, I have to get my quote right now. I'll have to pull it out for you afterwards. They were showing the penetration households of different fast TV apps and as well as Netflix and BBC iPlayer. And interestingly, Pluto, which I'd never heard at that point, doubled from 4% to 8% in 1 year. I'm like, who's watching Pluto? So I downloaded it on my phone. You don't even create an account, and you're just watching TV, and it's all ad funded. So it's really interesting how those players might just win because I've got
because of the ease of it.
The ease of it, and the cost, it's free. I've got 5 subscriptions.
Yeah.
I barely watch TV.
Like Netflix.
It's mental. Yeah. Absolutely mental. And I think I watched a little bit of Amazon last night, and I'll probably watch Netflix tomorrow. But I'm costing me £100 a month. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And what about that measurement in CTV? Because I know that is sort of
super important.
A topic everyone says is pretty fragmented and stuff. What's your thoughts on that? I know AudienceStore doing anything around that.
We've worked really hard on it. The first thing we did was work hard to understand the space, get the inventory, actually find out how to plan it and deliver it. And then it, as always, the measurement was like, oh crap, we better work out how to measure that. And it's really difficult. You've got the TV guys saying, I want to know how much reach you've got and frequency within that audience versus my TV. And I've got the digital guys saying, I want the money, I want the actions, where is it? So trying to work out what to give people is quite hard. And then amongst that, you've got a channel, like a media channel that's neither TV nor digital, neither TV nor digital. So the measurement's harder because it's not integrated with many things. And the measurement's also harder because it wasn't supposed to be bought in the way like Facebook would, or Meta, sorry. So what we've done is we've worked with like analyzers, you've got IP tracking, which is one of the better things available. We also offer some brilliant, like what we call enhancements on CTV. So we'll take your existing TV assets, enhance them for digital. So putting in QR codes, putting in more like interactive elements. This is something we see the US doing a lot. So we're sort of copying them, trying to bridge that gap. And the US market seems to be more familiar with ads looking like that. And we're trying to bring that over here. So having something that looks engaging to the client, doing maybe geo-split testing is another one we do, and then the analyzer, like IP tracking, is brilliant. And our favourite one of all of them has to be Audience Project by far. Audience Project has been an incredible tool for us. We've been able to use
we actually did a lot well.
Do you? Oh wow! What did you do with them?
We've recently placed some people in the UK, but they're also opening up in like Sweden and stuff like that. So
just a fantastic company. Can't shout them out enough actually for the podcast until really rate the guys over there. And the product is fantastic. It is understandable enough yet detailed enough. So I can take it to a TV guy who goes, okay, reach, frequency, penetration in the UK audience, perfect, get it. And I take it to the digital guy and he's like picking apart all the detail. That's the breakdown of gender, device, location.
So it's actually converting that CTV connect into like an audience essentially.
Well, yes, I should really explain it better, shouldn't I? Audience Project can ingest data from linear TV, from social, from YouTube, from Amazon, from CTV, from normal video, from display. And it puts it into one place where we're able to understand, deduplicated, how much audience did you actually reach? Because YouTube said you got 3 million, the TV said you got 10 million, Facebook, Meta, said you had 6 million. If we added all them together, that wouldn't be the correct number, because some people have seen on every single one. So it deduplicates that and gives you, based on a really strong statistical model and a panel they have, a really nice view of how many people did you actually reach and how did you control frequency across those channels to do better next time. And saying those things to people in TV speaks their language. They get it and they understand how we can optimize our digital to support their activity more. It's been fantastic.
That's amazing. Amazing. And then taking it back to you, I know we've gone through the buzzwords there, but you've obviously worked with some amazing brands over at AudienceStore. What are you kind of most proud of yourself?
Oh, most proud. I mean, Furniture Village have been with them for 10 years. The first client I had when I worked, and still now do bits of them just because I know them so well. Just their growth. I remember taking on the account 10 years ago, and they were spending maybe £100,000 a year on digital. I won't tell the numbers now, but it's it's a lot bigger. Like they've come on a journey.
As long as it's not less.
It's not yet. Calm down. Calm down. No, the AI shouldn't take my job if I get it down. But no, we've worked so hard with them to show and demonstrate the value of digital, programmatic especially, video especially, CTV more recently, and just seeing them grow their digital spend. And their business has grown with it, and it's been fantastic for taking on that journey, being a very traditional bricks and mortar store, who would have thought TV is the only thing that's worth doing. My other one would be, I really enjoy working with Advertisements. Lovely guy over there, Chris. Been a long time partner of the business, and we're constantly doing some brilliant things for them. And dare I say, he's like one of the easiest clients. We spend well together, we do good stuff together, but he's really easy to work with, and relationships are everything in this industry. We're all selling roughly the same thing: media, adverts, something, results.
It's very client industry.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and having these really great relationships with people cuts through the noise, I find.
Yeah, and then in terms of like programmatic, what do you think the biggest opportunity coming up for like marketeers is?
CTV is still going. 2025.
Yeah.
CTV is still going. It's not there yet. We've got to see consolidation. I think we've got to see it being less cluttered, less fragmented, more control, more measurement, more accountability, and better results. Then hopefully that will just be the dream for everyone. But I wouldn't be putting all my eggs in it this year. We're still cautiously going in, because why would we throw out the other things we were doing for 10 years?
Of course.
For more money, CTV is 10 times the cost of some of that stuff, right? So it's silly to just throw out the baby and the bathwater for CTV's sake. Things I'm super excited for this year. I think the AR and VR space is still quite nascent. I haven't seen guys walking around London with their headsets on or anything, but the advertising spaces, the use of advertising space in gaming shows how that could be really exciting. How I could be sponsored by Coca-Cola, be wearing a Coca-Cola suit in AR, and people are walking around seeing me go, hey, that guy's dressed as a Coca-Cola. So and it could just be so crazy, but it's nowhere near being there. Like, I haven't got I don't know if you've got a VR headset.
I haven't, no, but I've looked into buying them. They're very expensive.
They're super expensive, and this is it. When does it come to like the mass market? And when is it useful? AI. What if I had the headset on and it was writing my emails or dragging my mouse from ears? So
not only I'll just be walking straight into the walls.
So that would be really cool for me, I think, AR, VR, but that's like 5 years, gotta be. The metaverse I haven't dabbled with. I've got good friends of mine who are into Web3 and blockchain, and that also feels like something that hasn't been explored enough. I work with one company, I'll shout them out at the end, who are big in the blockchain space, and they have been doing bidding and using the blockchain to verify some of the bids. It's really exciting, but again, it's not blown up. It hasn't blown up. Their name's Alchemy, by the way, but shout them out.
Alchemy, great.
They're awesome. They're really great guys. And that's super interesting, but only the biggest people will take them on, because they tested everything else, right? And there's like, that's new, we'll do it. And I'd love to see that coming in. Web3 is super exciting. I'm not going to start a conversation about it because I don't know enough. But I've got a few friends who could come and sit here and probably give you about 10 hours on the subject.
And what about those channels like, I sort of call them, or like emerging sort of channels, like, I'll put kind of CTV in that as well, but also like digital out of home and audio that have kind of been around for a while, but they seem to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
They are getting bigger, and I'll be dead honest, we don't do as much as I'd like. And I think that might just be the client list and the partner mix with agencies. It might just be that. I think digital out of home is a fantastic tool. Being more of a digital native myself, adding that targeting, adding that measurement, adding the real time to it, seems like a great opportunity to me. I just don't know if all of us are using it enough. There might be some people listening who go, we use it loads, and that might be because of the nature of the clients they work with. And audio, I'm just big on podcasts, so I'm here now.
Yeah, so
really big on podcast adverts. So I thought it was a really nice exchange between the sort of the advertiser and the listener, because it's sort of not, you're not too annoyed. Now, unfortunately, Spotify's made it so easy to press the 30 seconds difference. It sort of ruined it, but 5 years ago I was a big proponent of it. And I really love my music, so I do where possible pay, for Spotify Premium and stuff like that, but I use some services where I don't pay and you've got the ads on, and some of the ads I've got really, really good and others ridiculous, and I think it's the people who do radio know how to get good digital audio ads out, and then me, I wouldn't be any good at it.
No, that's exactly what you mean. And then what about, I guess wrapping things up really, like plans for AudienceStore this year, it'd be good to get like a view of what your plans are for 2025, and then also like a bit more longer term, maybe like over 5 years.
For us, it's staying on this course, the Target Cast, Discover AI, our main products, as well as our creative suite, which I didn't talk about too much, and I won't go into detail, but creative has just been a huge driver for us. I genuinely believe creative and personalisation will continue to be a huge part for the next 5 years for us. As we go through these privacy waves of, is it bad, is it good, is it bad, is it good, we'll get to a point where we have some sort of understanding of the data that people don't allow us to have, and then we can still focus on personalisation, even if it's a slightly higher level. That's been massive for us.
Is that a product you have now?
We're already there. We've been doing like DCO, dynamic traceable optimization, and personalisation since 2015 probably. And every year we do more and more with this, and it seeps into video. We're looking at it for things like audio, and you wouldn't be able to do it out of home just yet. We've had a look at some things you could do. It's not going to be as detailed, it'd be more like geo-specific. We're bringing in weather as well. So shout out to Fiona on my career, who runs our creative team. She's head creative. Fantastic drive towards innovation in creative and personalisation. But CTV for now is a big focus. And audience insights, I speak to a lot of competitors who are friends as well, like Ogre, people like that, Capsify. Audience insights are not going away. They're getting more important, if anything. You've got to be able to take back planning from black box solutions, understand your audience, give it the best chance to go, get the strategy and rationale right. And for us, that's going to be really important.
Amazing. Well, Ben, thanks so much for joining us. It's been great to have you on. And